499.
Do protective spirits always accompany their charges? Are there any circumstances under which they may lose sight of them without completely abandoning them? There are circumstances under which the presence of the protective spirit is not necessary.
Okay, so we can see that in two ways also. Chronologically speaking, 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, always there, every second being there, or in matters of circumstances as well, right? In either case, we don't need a guardian angel with us at all times, 24/7. There will be times in which whatever activity are we doing does not necessarily need the presence of a guardian angel to guide us, to inspire, or something that you are perhaps mastered already, that you do so well that it doesn't need anybody there. That is, at that moment, we are at no risk of anything happening. The guardian angel may take a little break from us. There may be circumstances. Like right now here in this room, we're all over here in an environment that is fully protected. You have our SGNY workers protecting the environment. Our guardian angel may take a little break as well. They know that it's a safe environment. They know that there are many of the spirits over here capable of being with us. Okay, they will take a break. If one of us in prayer asks for the presence, they may show up, they may be with us. But this is one circumstance in which perhaps our protecting spiritual guides may take a little absence and do other things. We have to keep in mind that besides being our protecting spirit, our spiritual guide, they may have more than other individuals to attend, and they have to attend to their own needs, their own things, right? The same way that a teacher is a teacher, but has a family and has other things to do, the same way that even our parents are there for us anytime that we need, but they also have their own lives. They also have the other things to do. So it is with our guardian angels. They don't have to be with us 24/7. There are times and circumstances where they are not really needed. But when needed, they will be there. And when needed, from their point of view, not from ours, it's very important also to keep in mind. They know when they are needed. They know where they can step out. We don't. Most of us even don't care, even don't know that we have such a blessed protection from divine goodness to help to be with us when needed, and when needed from their point of view, not from ours. So let's say that I have to take a test, and the test is next month. The guardian angel will be with me, push me, school, study, prepare yourself, review that topic. They were kind of weak on that topic. Do your diligent work so we can pass the test. And completely ignore those voice in our conscience. Now, when it's sit in front of the test, so take that test, you did not study, did not prepare, say, hey, you're my guardian angel, you're my protective spirit, I need you now, gonna help me out with this. And they say, see you later, baby, I've done my job already, right? And so it is from that point of view. Now you have to do our job, and then they will help us in that. I remember one case, I said this case many times, with Chico Xavier used to receive tremendous amount of merchandise. People try to drop things in his house, would never ever accept, never allow anything donation to cross into his household. So someone brought from São Paulo, was still at Matos in Pedro Leopoldo at that time, a small city in near Belo Horizonte. And it's a very wavy up and down the hills. And the truck driver came in early in the morning. It was a raining day with a truck full of things donated to Chico. And Chico said, no, in my house, there is no way. But I know there is an orphanage. The city next to us is just about 25 minutes ride. Please take me there. And the truck driver did not like that. He got a little upset that it's not enough I have to drive all the way over here to dump this thing for this guy who talks to spirits, and now he wanted me to go somewhere else. So he called his boss, and his boss said, yeah, no, just take whatever Chico wants to take it. So Chico got in the passenger seat of the truck with the driver, and some of his friends were driving behind in a small car to help them with taking everything off. And the truck driver was really kind of angry with the whole situation. And again, it was a rainy day, it was bad condition, and the roads in Brazil. And he was speeding. He was speeding like crazy. And at one point, something happened, and the driver lost control of the truck, and the truck went zigzagging the road and went in one wheel or two wheels, and the guys behind me said, oh, that's it. This time Chico's gonna go. There's no way he's gonna escape this one. And escaped. No, got to control the car, stop. We're supposed to stop. All the guys behind the car behind, they run to Chico and say, oh my God, Chico. Could only be you protect your guiding spirit to save you of that. And he said, no. You see that sign over there? What the sign says? The sign says 50 kilometers per hour. So they will be with us up to 50 kilometers per hour. Beyond that, we are on our own. So they expect us to do our diligent work, to do our part, to follow directions, to follow the rules. If we choose to go on our own, then we are on our own. Besides that, they will be there to guide it, to protect us. But if we choose to exceed the limits, or let's say in this case of the speed, to do things on our own, it's a choice that we can do, but then we have to deal with that on our own. So again, they will be there for us from their standpoint when they feel that they are needed. If we neglect the presence, if we neglect to do what we need to do, then we are on our own. So if you don't study for the test, don't expect them to bring the answers for you. They're not going to do that for you, but they will guide you. They will stimulate you to prepare yourself for that test. Okay, 500.
Elmo.
Yep.
So if we are being naughty, they don't help us?
It depends on the extent of naughty, right? And depends on the extent of our ignorance. Let's assume a spiritual child, so to say, with very limited understanding, that child, spiritual child, okay, not chronological age, but a young spirit, okay, not in a chronological age, will require a lot more assistance, a lot more help, and a lot more leniency, because it just knows less. It's just less responsible for things. That's why you have rules even here. Let's say for you to drive a car, you have to reach a certain age. You have to demonstrate that you are capable of doing so. Once you are at that age, you demonstrate that you can do so, then you are responsible for the things. If you go beyond that, if you do not follow the rules, you could be in trouble for that, right? But if it's a 5 years old that picks up a car and drives, that child is not responsible for anything. The parents will be responsible because that child does not have the ability to be responsible for their actions yet. So to a certain level, it depends where do we stand. If you demonstrate already that we are able to drive, that have the chronological age to drive, and you demonstrate to whatever means they choose, then we can drive. But if you're being naughty, the law will get us and make us responsible for what we've done. Again, the example of the test, they were stimulated to study, but they're not going to take the test for you. They will stimulate you to not take certain risks that perhaps are not right to do so, that perhaps lead you to no good consequences, and you choose to take those risks, you are on your own. You may do well. You may do well, but you are on your own. Again, they're not here to interfere in our free will, and they're not here to interfere with the consequences of our decisions. You decide to do that, you have to deal with the consequence of that. Again, depends at a certain level of that spirit. But then again, our free will is limited to our level of progress as well. The same way that a 3-year-old free will is very limited by mom and daddy and the law, right? Because it's no longer is able to make certain decisions. As we mature, our free will augments, but we have more responsibilities as well. Same thing with the spirit, with us, the spirit. They cannot interfere with the natural pathway of cause and consequences. And they should not. Otherwise, it'd be too easy, right? I can do everything I want to do when the things get hard. My guardian angel are gonna come and rescue me, get me out of trouble. It would be way too easy and would lead us to never to progress, to never really learn from our mistakes. It's a choice that we make. God teaches through love and re-educates through pain. Okay? $500? Philip?
Do spirits ever reach a point where they no longer need a guardian angel? Yes, when they are able to guide themselves in the same manner that students reach a point where they no longer need a teacher. However, this does not take place on Earth.
That's not nice.
It's the good news, bad news kind of situation, right?
That's not nice.
The good news is that eventually we will mature ourselves to the spiritual level that we will no longer need a guardian angel, a protecting spirit. Perhaps at that level, we could start being a protecting spirit to someone else. But the bad news is that we are too far from it yet. If you're incarnate in this world, it's because you're not there yet. You still need somebody to protect you, to guide you, which is, in a sense, good news as well. To know that as long as I'm here, I can count on someone to help me, to guide me, to inspire me towards goodness, or even to help me to support the difficult situations, consequences of my lack of listening to that same guardian angel. it's actually a very consoling position to know that here at our level, you can always count on someone. There's always someone there for us. If they cannot take the test for us, if they cannot give us the right answers to that test, they will help us to deal with the consequences, give us support to deal with whatever comes after that. I think it's, in a way, for us, it's good news. Yep.
What about other planets? Are there guardian angels there? Because as we know, this planet is the worst one. So do they have guardian angels there? Are they not in need?
Yeah, you need to see us spirits, right? Anywhere and everywhere you're spirits. In Jupiter, in another galaxy, we are all spirits, right? So in words like ours, if inhabitants of Earth requires a protecting spirit, words like ours will be the same. They will have protecting spirit, they'll have guardian angels as well. In words perhaps even less developed than Earth, they will have guardian angels, even more controlling, even more on top of the situation, because it feels even in greater need. You go to a higher worlds where the spirits were no longer being corrupted by flesh, not only being stimulated by vices. There's no need for protecting spirit anymore, right? If you, yes.
Now we're talking about worlds that are less evolved, worlds that are. How would I rank this planet Earth if I were to say for 1 to 10? Where would I put it? Just to have, like.
This.
Is it possible to rank it? I don't know.
Perhaps it is. Perhaps it is. There are worlds that are less evolved than Earth, but Earth is still kind of a low ranking, so to say. Okay. João de Angela says that we are closer to God than to the animalia, than to the animal kingdom. So you evolve, at least you crossed getting closer to God, farther from the animal.
Yeah.
Which kind of hard to believe. It's kind of hard to believe for what we're witnessing around us these days, but that's what she says. Okay, but it's still in a lower level, so to say. Which easy to conclude, just to see what goes around us, right?
Yeah. We don't learn from history, like.
Yeah.
You're right.
501.
Why is the role that spirits have in our lives covert? Why do they not openly protect and guide us? If you counted on their support, you would not act of your own accord, which would cause your spirit to remain stationary. All human beings need to acquire experience, often at their own expense, in order to advance. They need to exercise their own power, otherwise they remain stunted, like a child who is not allowed to walk alone. The action of spirits is regulated so that your free will is maintained. Without responsibility, you would not advance on the road leading to God. Human beings put forth their own strength because they do not see their invisible support. Their guides continue to watch over them and call out to them to warn them of danger when necessary. The screen, it's off the bottom, it's off the screen.
I think it's an issue of laziness and procrastination, right? What the Spirit is telling us that you have a tendency to procrastinate, they have a tendency towards laziness, they have a tendency to let others do what we are supposed to do, giving us that opportunity. That question actually makes me think one question that I had many time ago we discussed, if it wouldn't be wiser for us not to know at all this top part of discussion here. Because some of us will try to dump our responsibilities upon our guardian angels to take care of business for us. Even when we do not see them, even we do not clearly hear them with our physical eyes, but we do hear with our spiritual eyes, of course. That the likelihood of us to procrastinate our own progress would be it would be a very high risk that we will do that. For that reason, they work silently. They do not have to present themselves. They are there giving us instructions, guidance, inspiration in a quite invisible manner as to not corrupt our responsibilities to do what we have to do ourselves. Because that is a tendency that we would have to do. Is that everybody? Perhaps not. But chances are the majority of us would just do that. And again, our guardian angels, our protecting guardian spirits are not here to do things for us. They are here to inspire us to do what we need to do and to do it right and to do it at the right time. That's their responsibility, to inspire us towards goodness, to inspire us towards fulfilling our duties, not to do them for us, and not to interfere with our free will to say, I don't want to do it, or I don't do it my way, I want to do it in a different way. And at that point, they'll say, well, you have reached the level that you have that free will. If you choose to do so, you do so. But you only one, of course, right? So I think that I agree here that we are more likely to procrastinate, to go into laziness, if we had a very physical, palpable presence of this guardian angel with us. But imagine all the time.
You know, that tendency, we could probably project it into all the human beings, you understand? Make all the, manipulate them in such a way that make them do things that I'm supposed to be doing.
Right, can you imagine if you had the protecting guiding spirit, the one who is designated by the divine laws to be there for you, would try to enslave the poor thing.
Yeah.
I agree with you. All right, 502. I'm sorry, Philip.
Thank you. When guardian angels succeed in leading their charges down the right path, do they gain any benefit for themselves? It is an admirable task which is credited to them for their advancement or happiness. They celebrate when they are successful and feel a sense of triumph in the same way that teachers are elated at the success of their students.
Yes.
Are they responsible if their wards do not succeed? No, since they have done everything that they could.
Yeah, my dad was a teacher. I lived with him for many years and have teachers in the room. You can ask them if you don't get that sense of happiness when you see that you work generated good things. Of course you do. And why would not? For protecting other spirits when they see that at least sometime we listen and that generates good results for ourselves because they are interested in our well-being, they are interested in our success. When they are able to do that, of course, this will have a credit to them for their own advance and happiness. It will stimulate them to do even more. Because again, these are not crises yet. Okay, these are still spirits in progress. They do not reach perfection yet. So they would naturally be tremendously satisfied when they see that their work was well received by us, that the instructions was well received by us and put them into good work. They'll feel naturally good about it. And will be a credit for them as well. I mean that they have applied themselves and things worked as one would like to. And then the next question is, what about the other way? Are they responsible if we drop the ball? No, because they do everything to help us. They do everything that they can to assist us, but they will not interfere with our free will. They will not interfere with our right of making mistakes. They will not interfere with the natural law of cause and consequences. But of course, they're going to be saddened about it. The same way that we all have grown-up kids anymore that we cannot tell them what to do anymore. And if they choose not to listen and go their own way and things doesn't work well, we feel bad about it. We feel bad about when we not listen and we know better. In some things we do know better because we have that experience already. And if things doesn't go well as it shouldn't, if things start wrong, it should end wrong. We will feel bad about it. But with a clean conscience that we did what we had to do. We provide the proper guidance. We provided all the necessary tools for them to take the right path, and they chose to go in a different way. Not going to be happy about it, going to be sad, but with a clean conscience. And now they're going to have to deal with the consequences of their decisions. So spirits, our guardian and protect spirit will jubilate, will be content when they choose to follow their guidance. And of course, they will not be very happy when you choose not to do it. And we have to deal with the consequences of our ill decisions.
Elmo,
Yes,
do you allow me to ask a question to the group?
sure.
Can anybody here in the group hear your guardian angels?
Well, question of that?
Can anyone here in the group or at home actually hear their guardian angels?
Yes.
I have experience,
We don't listen.
I have experience with definitely.
And when you hear it, naturally you hear with the spiritual ear, so to say, right?
Who are you asking?
Ale, who answered yes?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your question, Elmo. What is it?
So naturally, when you hear it, you hear it with your spiritual ear, so to say, right?
Exactly,
With
yes.
physical ears.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is it that in moments of meditation, in moments of prayer?
It varies. Last time that happened, it was when I was about to make a mistake.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it depends on the level that I'm connected, obviously. But last time that happened was last Friday, and yeah, it was on point, like on point. I knew right away that I was being inspired to not do what I was thinking. So yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's possible, and it's not reserved for censored mediums, unless happens to be on censored mediums. But it's possible that anyone may hear, but just remember they're not hearing with your physical ears. Otherwise, everybody in the room hear the same thing also. I believe in a state of meditation and in a state of a trance of any kind of altered state of consciousness, or one could hear its own protecting guarding spirit. And now, of course, you're going to make the hearing not necessary as hearing a voice, which could also be, but receive that instruction, that guidance, that you are pretty much sure that it's external from you, is a third party, it's not you, it's coming from somewhere else or for someone else. And we have somebody, an inspiration to say something silly as, do not cross the street, keep walking straight. And we just follow it and say, well, for some reason, something is telling me not to cross the street. In a state of meditation, a state of any altered state of consciousness, we could definitely receive that guidance, that instruction very clearly, aware that it's not really from you, that it's from a third party, and not just leave the word hearing in a very ample way, just receive a message.
Sometimes I have experience in terms of like a knowing, like an intuition, like I do meditate, definitely. And sometimes I have like complaints, let me put it this way.
What?
Or I complain about life.
Okay.
I'm going to a situation or whatever. Okay, I complain, I let that voice speak up. It's a resentment or whatever I have, and I let it. I let it out. Let's say that I let the ego out, and I listen to it. And then I do meditation. That's why I let it out in order to, and then it comes in like it responds, like an intuition. And sometimes it's not at that moment. Sometimes in the afternoon it comes in. It's not really when, you understand? Am I
Yeah.
making sense? And so yeah, definitely happens to me. Definitely.
Yeah, I believe it's
Definitely
possible.
happens. But I do meditate within the window of 9 to 12. Anytime 9 or 10 o'clock, 11, but in that window, I do my meditation.
Because otherwise it makes no sense to have them, right? If you could not receive their, their input, why have them for? So yes, now hearing as a hearing voice, it's possible. If we receive it in a different way, according with some channel of receiving, or perhaps the way that the guardian angel thinks that we are more receptive. they'll do whatever they can to get into to us if we seek to connect with them. Five oh three, Philip?
Do protective spirits get upset when their wards proceed down the wrong road? Does it upset their own happiness? They are saddened by the errors of their wards and feel pity for them, but they do not experience the anguish of human parents because they know that if the wrongs committed by their wards are not remedied today, they will be tomorrow.
So we know ignorance, but with our love, parents or our parents towards us, when we choose to go the wrong path, when we choose to go the wrong path, or with our kids choose to go the wrong path, naturally we feel bad about it. Some of us may get sick even. Some of us have some serious go into depression, go into anxieties and all those things, because we are human. We are very limited by our ignorance and limited by this flesh. We will deal with the wrongdoings of our kids in a much deeper way. We may even suffer their pain, which is a big mistake. But those more evolved spirits, again, they'll be saddened. They're not going to be happy if you know they guide us to go in one direction and we completely ignore and go in a different direction, and the consequences are really bad, and we have to go through hardship because of it. They're not going to be happy about it, but they're not going to suffer all pain. They're not going to lose any night's sleep because of it. Way above us. Way above us. Again, there will be opportunity to learn, and that is an opportunity to learn. But the path that we choose, how we want to learn. God educates through love, re-educates through pain. The Spirit's gonna let us go to the pain that we choose. Now, they will support us going through that pain. They will help us, but at least not to dig any bigger hole if they can protect us from that. They'll be there for us. But they know that, again, everything concurs to the good. When Paul of Tarsus says that, he says everything, even the mistakes that we make. If we make a mistake, it's because we are choosing a pathway of learning that is a much harder one, but it's our choice. We're going to have to deal with the consequence of it. And how long we're going to persist in the wrong is also our choice. They're not going to be happy about it. They're not going to celebrate our ill decisions. They'll be sad about it, but not like we humans start to pull out on one hair. They understand that eventually everything concurs for the good. We'll learn the lessons that have chose to learn through hardship, choice that we made. So, we have 4 minutes. I'm going to stop here. You have only 4 minutes. So if there's anybody has any question regarding what we read today? Anything somebody disagree? Did I say anything stupid I should have not said? Put it up now. Okay, so we're going to make our final prayer. Those who are here, we're going to proceed to the pastors. And for everyone else, I'll see you on Sunday. On Sunday, we're going to study the Medium's book. The Medium book now has switched to the 3rd Sunday of the month, okay?
Mhm.
So,
For this Sunday is.
I'm sorry, this
What
Sunday,
Sunday?
the meeting spoke.
The meeting.
Okay, who wants to make a final prayer, please? Thank you. I'm just gonna ask you to speak a little louder.
Oh,
to
sure,
Richard.
okay. Thank you, Alma, and thank you, everyone, for participating this evening, for being here with our studies of the Spirit's Book, Chapter 9. We give thanks to the infinite wisdom of God and of the great Creator. We are grateful for what we have received this evening as our studies of the spirits, of the guardian angels, who are also our high order spirits and the protecting spirits, the familiar spirits, and the sympathetic spirits. We are grateful to receive the guidance and the support of these spirits. It is still up to our free will to exercise it and to listen intently, putting into practice the goodness that they are trying to impart to us. It is up to us. They will not do the work for us. Therefore, we must endeavor and make a commitment to move forward with the goodness that is given. We are grateful to our spiritual benefactors and the good spirits who are with us this evening, guiding us through our meeting and through our studies. May we continue throughout the week with our prayers, with our studies and our mindfulness, knowing that we are never alone. This is a great lesson that we have learned this evening. There is much that is being revealed to us if we only listen a bit more intently and put into practice what we have received. We are grateful for what we have learned, and we are grateful for the Spiritist Center availing us to these teachings. We humbly ask now to receive the protection and the guidance going forward to our family, friends, loved ones, and coworkers. May we receive these teachings and impart what we can to others who are also receptive. We ask for the love, light, and peace of Christ to be with us, to go with us in our hearts and in our minds. We humbly close now our meeting, and we ask for our prayers to go forward to those who are in need throughout the world, globally. For we know that there are many challenges facing us. This is a time of paradigm shift, a time of great challenges for everyone. We ask that we keep these thoughts and prayers within us and for others as well. We close and give thanks for what we have received, and may we close and remind ourselves to be beacons of light. Go forth now in peace, so be it.
Thanks, everyone. See you on
Thank
Sunday.
you.
Have a good one.
Thank you.